Welcome back to my channel.
Story 1.
Daniel caught a cold. He had fever and chills. His nose was running all day. He couldn't even stop sneezing. Daniel visited the doctor. He was told to rest and relax. "Stay in bed for 3 days," said the doctor. Daniel did not listen. His friends wanted to go swimming. "Come with us," they told him. "You'll be fine." Daniel and his friends stayed in the pool until late at night. The next morning, Daniel felt terrible. His voice was completely gone. He was shaking all morning. He stayed this way for 5 days. He called his doctor for help. "You didn't listen to me, did you?" his doctor asked.
Story 2.
Mary Green wanted a new pair of shoes. She wanted some blue heels. They cost $150. Mary asked her dad for money. "Are you crazy?" said Mr. Green. "You don't even wear heels." Mary couldn't stop thinking about the heels. She kept bothering Mr. Green about them. Mr. Green felt bad. He wished he could afford the shoes. It would make Mary happy. Mr. Green saved money for Mary's birthday. He gave her the shoes. Mary wore them all night. They left her giant blisters. Mary hated them. She never wanted to wear them again. Mary told Mr. Green that she lost them. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video and comment.
Story 3.
Michael Phillips is overweight. He wants to lose a lot of weight because he is not happy with how he looks. He is also very unhealthy. His last doctor's appointment was scary. He was told he was at risk of heart disease. Mr. Phillips knows that his diet needs to improve. He eats a lot of burgers and chips. He hardly picks up any fruits or vegetables. "Eating healthy is so boring," complains Mr. Phillips. The doctor gave him more advice. "You need to try exercising more," Mr. Phillips was told. He hardly ever even walks. He bought a treadmill. Mr. Phillips was very determined to succeed.
Story 4.
It was a big day for Ms. Wilson. She had just gotten her paycheck. She was on her way to buy her first bicycle. Ms. Wilson grew up in a poor family. They could never afford to buy her a bicycle. Ms. Wilson was now 30 years old. She had a good job and 2 children of her own. She wanted to teach them how to ride a bike. But first, she had to learn herself. She chose a big blue bike from the bicycle store. Now, it was time to practice. Her first day on the bike was terrible. "This is so much harder than it looks," she yelled. After many, many falls, Ms. Wilson got it down. She felt very proud. "I can't wait to teach my kids now," she said.
Story 5.
Mark Smith needed to get a job. There was one problem. Mark was a bit lazy. He wanted to do something easy. "I know," he said. "I can be a waiter." I don't think that's the best job for you, said his mom. Why not? Mark replied. He thought the job looked very simple. All I have to do is clean tables, said Mark. Plus, I would get big tips. Mark got hired as a waiter in a small cafe. He soon realized his mom was right. Everyone who ate left a big mess on the table. Mark hated cleaning up. He was very slow at it, too. He kept dropping plates on the floor. To top it off, he wasn't very nice to customers. They left him small tips. Mark was fired after 3 days.
Story 6.
Sharon Carter wanted to take a pottery class. She didn't want to go alone. She invited her husband to go with her. I don't want to do that, said Mr. Carter. Pottery is for girls. This made Sharon very angry. She could not believe he said that. That's a sexist thing to say, yelled Sharon. She argued with him for hours. Mr. Carter was tired of fighting. He agreed to go just to shut Sharon up. Their first class went very well. Mr. Carter was really good at making pots. The instructors loved him. You are very talented, they all said. Mr. Carter went to pottery class every week after that. He loved it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video and comment.
Story 7.
Andrew Williams got a new pet. It was a baby chick. His parents brought it home one day. At first, Andrew did not like the chick. He wanted a different pet. All of my friends have dogs or cats, he complained. The chick followed Andrew everywhere. She was very cute. After 2 months, Andrew grew very close to her. He named her Rex. Andrew got home from school one day. He started looking for Rex. He couldn't find her anywhere. Rex ran away from home, said Andrew's mom. Andrew was confused. Then, he looked at the oven. His mom was cooking a chicken for dinner. Andrew cried.
Story 8.
Mr. White had a bad habit. He was a chain smoker. Mr. White knew his addiction was unhealthy. He couldn't even take walks anymore. He spent all day coughing. Mr. White spent 1 year trying to quit smoking. He would always buy a pack and promise himself it would be his last cigarette. Mr. White went to his doctor for a checkup. His doctor asked him to take an X-ray. They found a tumor on his left lung. He had cancer from all the smoking. Mr. White went home scared. He threw out his cigarettes, but he kept one. This would finally be his last cigarette.
Story 9.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith had a fun night out. They had been dancing all night. They did not get home until 3 a.m. They found their front window broken. They ran inside. Everything was thrown on the floor. Their televisions were missing. Their laptops were gone. Even their fancy plates were taken. Mrs. Smith started crying. "We've been robbed," she screamed. The police were called in. It will probably be impossible to find the burglars, they said. Mr. Smith started cleaning the mess. He saw something lying by the windowsill. It was a wallet. The burglar had dropped it while jumping through the window.
Story 10.
Mr. Gonzalez was a janitor. He was unhappy with his career. He was a smart man. He knew he could do more with his life. Mr. Gonzalez wanted to go back to college. He had always dreamed of becoming a teacher. If he finished college, this could come true. Mr. Gonzalez was 40 years old. His children told him he was too old to go back to college. "You will look like a grandpa," they joked. "That's not true," said Mr. Gonzalez. "I will be the wisest student there." Mr. Gonzalez graduated from college 4 years later. His children were very proud of him.